Teotihuacan. Teotihuacan. Focus question. Why has Teotihuacan captured the interest of so many people? The great and mysterious Teotihuacan. When the Spanish first came upon the ruins of Teotihuacan in the 1700s, they were amazed. People living in the area told Spanish explorers it was built by a race of giants who came from the heavens long ago. Looking around, one might believe that was true. The Pyramid of the Sun is the third largest ancient pyramid in the world. Close by, the Pyramid of the Moon is not much smaller. To this day, people stand before the pyramids and wonder who built them. The answer is a mystery. Built to impress. Teotihuacan rulers demanded huge projects. Workers moved the San Juan River in order to build the massive pyramids. The plazas were large enough to hold tens of thousands of citizens with room for visitors. The population was between 1 and 200,000 people. In its day, Teotihuacan was the largest city in the Americas and one of the largest on Earth. The vast city covered 20 square kilometers, 8 square miles, and its influence reached all the way into what is now Honduras. Today, Teotihuacan is one of the most studied and visited sites in Mexico. Digging up the past. We call the people who built the city Teotihuacanos. The name comes from the Aztecs, the people who came upon it long after the Teotihuacanos were gone. We do not know what the Teotihuacanos called themselves or their city. We do not know what language they spoke, where they came from, or the names of any of their powerful rulers. What we do know comes from archaeologists. They continue to dig around buildings and find artifacts that teach us about the people who made them. Archaeologists told us that when the first settlers arrived around 400 BCE, they found two very important resources, water and good soil. Teotihuacan is in a flat basin surrounded by mountains. Inside the basin is good soil for farming. Enough water tumbles down to the mountains for people to use for their personal needs and to grow their crops. There was another resource nearby, obsidian. This volcanic rock was highly valued for making sharp knives as well as deadly spearhead and arrowheads. Merchants from Teotihuacan most likely traded their obsidian with people many hundreds of miles away. In the first few hundred years, Teotihuacan grew, but slowly. Then, in the 1st century CE, a huge volcanic explosion nearby caused people to flee by the tens of thousands. Evidence suggests that many came to Teotihuacan. In 320 CE, another nearby volcano blew and more people came. All these new people were immigrants. They had their own languages and religions. They were welcomed and their arrival brought big changes to Teotihuacan. Immigrants make the city grow. With the population growing, more housing was needed. The rulers carefully planned the city. First, they ordered farmers to move their fields further away. Then they ordered about 2,000 brand new apartment buildings. When archaeologists found the first one, they thought they had discovered a palace. These apartments were unlike any others in the world. The spaces were large, expertly built of stone and painted with beautiful murals. Inside each building were courtyards, porches, kitchens, a temple, and 50 or more rooms that housed between 60 and 100 people. They brought in fresh water from a reservoir, and drains took used water away. People lived well in Teotihuacan. Clues from artifacts and murals tell us that immigrants formed ethnic neighborhoods where they made traditional pottery and other items. They also brought goods from their homelands. The Maya brought jade, cacao for making amona. The Maya brought jade, cacao for making chocolate, and prized feathers for headdresses. Immigrants from the Gulf Coast brought dried fish, salt, and beautiful seashells. Others from the East brought cotton that they wove into cloth and then sewed into the fine clothing. Immigrant neighborhoods made Teotihuacan a center for all sorts of expensive goods. The rulers also ordered older buildings rebuilt to match their new plan. Every structure in the city had to line up on a grid that was actually 15.5 degrees east of the true north. With this alignment, the Pyramid of the Sun faces the point on the horizon where the sun sets in against 13. Many cultures believed the world was formed on that day. Whether that's true is a mystery. We do know that Teotihuacan was one of the most highly planned cities in the world. Archaeologists dig deeper. In 1971, a cave was discovered under the Pyramid of the Sun that was used as a shrine. Evidence suggests that caves were sacred to the people of Teotihuacan, who may have believed the gods were born in caves and worked there to make the world we live in. The name Teotihuacan means place where the gods were born. Maybe the pyramid was built to honor the site of the scarred cave underneath. When archaeologists began to dig within the Pyramid of the Moon, they found burials of people with precious objects of jade and obsidian. The remains of animals such as pumas, rattlesnakes, eagles, a wolf, a falcon, and an owl were found too. Experts think that the people and animals were killed as offerings to the gods. The people believed that by doing this, the gods would bring rain for crops and power to the city's rulers. Collapse. The many warriors who protected Teotihuacan were strong and just as deadly animals. However, they could not protect Teotihuacan from destruction, or, as some evidence suggests, they were among those who attacked and burned the temples and smashed the statues. We do not know. What we do know is that abroad caused food shortages. People began to leave the city. Then, after centuries of wealth and power, Teotihuacan fell. People fled pyramids. The pyramids became overgrown with weeds, and the greatest city in the Americas became a ruin. Extreme climbs and long walks. Imagine walking up the Avenue of the Dead. Everything around visitors is designed to make them feel small, and the design works as well today as it must have almost 2,000 years ago. When people finally reach the Pyramid of the Sun, they have traveled up the steepest steps they have ever climbed, all 248 of them, to experience the thrilling view from the top. For a shorter walk and no stairs, visitors can go to the museum and walk on a glass full-over scale model of the whole site, pyramids and all. In 1987, Teotihuacan was named an important world site by UNESCO, an organization that helps protect it. Even so, the many visitors, along with wind and rain, continue to erode the structures, but the greatest threat to the site today may be developers or builders. In 2004, one developer received permission to build just outside the park by law. The company had to report any artifacts dug up during construction, but it didn't. Instead, it trucked the priceless artifacts to the dump because that was faster and easier. These actions led to years of investigation. Discoveries keep coming. There is much to see and explore at this ancient place. In 2003, archaeologist Cerigo Gomez visited Teotihuacan during a heavy rainstorm. The rain was a life-changer for Gomez. It was early morning when he arrived to find a small sinkhole in front of the temple of the feathered serpent. To explore the hole, he tied a rope around its waist, and several people lowered him deep into the darkness. Far below, Gomez discovered a tunnel that had been sealed 1,800 years ago. It was the discovery of a lifetime. Today, Gomez and his team are excavating the tunnel, inching their way toward its end under the